There's a lot of stuff we're going to talk about this week. There's a lot of different things we're going to get into. We've barely gotten started, and we've already had a great week already. So there's so many things we're going to get to and different things we're going to cover and whatnot. But before we go anywhere today, I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank you for being with us wherever you are in central and upstate New York, in our second home of Florida, on the East Coast, the West Coast, the Midwest, all around the country and the world. I want to thank you for being with us on Facebook.com, YouTube.com, and MixLR.com, all /Wake Up Call DT. So I really do appreciate you being here where sports meets that thing called life. So thank you from wherever you are for being with us every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. As you know, we are inside of the Cafe Kubal studios, and Cafe Kubal is located for you conveniently all throughout central and upstate New York. 3501 James Street, their OG location in Eastwood. They're also on 401 South Salina Street and 324 West Water Street. All of those are Syracuse locations. You'll also find them in Manlius on 343 Fayette Street in Manlius, New York. And you'll find them on the corner of Route 11 and Taft Road at Sweetheart Corners. And that is in North Syracuse for their drive-through location. For those of you out of town, you can go very easily to cafekubal.com. It's cafe, Kubal.com. Today's broadcast, as always, inside of Ma and Pa's Popcorn.com's What's Poppin'. Ma and Pa's letting you know the list of topics for the day. Well, it is a Wednesday, and you know that every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time is Dolphin time. So we will be celebrating the Dolphins here, as we always do, Wednesdays at 9 a.m. as part of our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership with the LeMoyne College Dolphins and LeMoyne College in general. Bob Beretta and I are here for the first October edition of AD and DT with Athletics Director Bob Beretta and myself, Dan Tortora. And we will be talking about fall sports, giving you a spotlight on all fall sports at LeMoyne, from men's and women's cross country to men's and women's golf to men's and women's soccer to men's and women's tennis, and finishing up with volleyball. And we will also be giving an update on reclassification and the fact that LeMoyne has been in conversation. Nothing has been done yet, and I want to make that clear. Nothing has been done yet. No votes have been made. There is a procedure and a process. No invitations have been granted or given or any of that. LeMoyne has talked to a couple of the conferences. So we're going to discuss that with Bob Beretta as well. And of course, since the beginning of reclassification and realignment conversation with LeMoyne months and months ago, we have been the exclusive home of every piece of breaking news coming out of LeMoyne College. And you could see the entire series by going to our LeMoyne tab on wakeupcalldt.com to see that series with Bob Beretta and President Dr. Linda Lemura. So that's coming up in just a moment here, AD and DT, as Bob and I talk about fall sports as well as reclassification and realignment. Then Ross Turetsky, my good friend, is going to be joining me around 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, a little bit after that, and we're going to be talking about number 62 for Aaron Judge. Now, I know Papa Joe and I will discuss it tomorrow as well. I could not wait, coming off the heels of it happening last night in a doubleheader with the Texas Rangers in the first inning when he went yard for number 62, the first player in American League history to ever hit 62 home runs in a regular season, passing Roger Maris, a fellow Yankee. Roger Maris did it in 1961. It's crazy. Hit 61 in 1961, and then 61 years later, Aaron Judge tied him and surpassed that with 62. So we'll be talking with a longtime Yankee fan and fellow sportscaster and writer and one of my closest friends in the world, Ross Turetsky, will be joining the broadcast to speak on number 62 for Aaron Judge. And of course, as you know, on Wednesdays, we stop the video of the first hour and then cut it into a video of the second hour. So typically, Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, Wake Up Call is 1 2-hour live streamed video that is there for you. On Wednesdays, we cut it first part, second part, because our fantasy football content is so vast and we want to make sure that people can get to it instantaneously. So we will have our second hour with the Wildcat Sports Pub, proudly presenting the Fantasy Football Power Hour for NFL Week 5, where I will be giving you advice on every single game this week from Thursday through Monday night. So, with that being said, we're going to take a quick step aside for a fast break. When we spin back around, Bob Beretta will be joining me here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora as we have yet another AD and DT. We expand our exclusive series on reclassification and realignment, and we focus on every fall sport at LeMoyne College right after this.
Cafe Cabal offers same-day local delivery of our products, offering no delivery charge for Onondaga County. Shop cafecabal.com for fresh roasted coffee beans, cold brew, travel mugs, and all your essential Cafe Cabal needs. Cafe Cabal, coffee for the soul.
This is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942 and tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating. Find them at 201 Old 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and all the time online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, you can order all throughout the country at maandpaspopcorn.com. And remember to get your tins, which have in-store half-price refills forever. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory, available to you for fundraising and all of your events by calling 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
Witty Wicks Candles and Gift Shop, Township 5, Camillus, where you will find handcrafted all-natural soy wax candles over 60 cents to freshen up your home. We carry a wide range of locally made items, Salsa Q's, Syracuse Salt, and Chocolate Pizza Company, to name a few. Let our knowledgeable staff help choose unique gifts and keepsakes for any occasion. Gifts for family and friends, and maybe a little something for yourself. Witty Wicks Candles and Gift Shop, Township 5, Camillus.
To another edition of AD and DT with Athletics Director Bob Beretta of LeMoyne College and myself, Dan Tortora, of course, aka DT. So happy to be here with you in Dolphin time here this Wednesday, the first Wednesday in October, October 5th. And I can proudly say we are 16 days until my birthday on the 21st. And so we are here today to talk about the fall sports, a little update through cross country, golf, as well as soccer, tennis, and volleyball here at LeMoyne College. And to give you an update on reclassification and realignment. As you know, this is your source and your home for everything coming out of LeMoyne College for reclassification and realignment conversation is right here in our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership. So, Bob, as always, how are you?
I'm doing excellent, Dan. How are you today?
Doing very well.
Thanks for being here.
Absolutely. And happy to be here. I'm okay with the weather change. I'm okay with an adjustment, because we've been getting 60s and 70s, so I'm not going to complain.
Well, it's going to be 70 later this week, I read, so it'll be nice again. I'm a summer, warm weather kind of guy, so looking forward to some more 70s before we say goodbye to the sun.
I'm 70s, you can get me to 80, but when you hit the 90s and whatnot, when I'm not the person who likes to sweat in my suit, is what I like to say.
That's fair.
So, So to look at fall sports as we get into this fall weather, first and foremost with men's and women's cross country, just some thoughts on that.
Yeah, we've had a good season. Coach Willis, we've battled some injuries, but he's got some young talent that have shined a little bit, and he's looking forward to their continued development. Obviously, for us, we have a very busy fall schedule, and he's got several meets, most of them away. We have one home meet that was earlier in the year, last weekend in August that we had that. But our cross-country teams are progressing well under Coach's leadership, and we're excited about the future for both of those programs.
And then to move to men's and women's golf, and I know Joe Tesori, with everything he's done here, and then taking over and being the coach of both last year and stepping forward this season for both of these teams, just what you can say about the work that he's done as well as the team.
Well, the men's team finished in third place in the NE10 championships on Monday.
Yeah.
Tyler Bird became the 8th LeMoyne golfer in school history to win the NE10 medalist honors. He finished one stroke under par, one under par during the 2-day event, and we finished in third place. I thought we were positioned pretty well for a run at the championship, and we were. We were in first place on Monday during the final round, but just kind of fell back to third before it was all said and done. But Tyler, again, outstanding showing. Congratulations to Tyler. He's our second medalist in 3 years. So Nick Bove captured that in 2021. So now we look towards the women, and the women will have their championships upcoming here in a couple of weeks. And under Coach Tesori's leadership, they've done a fantastic job and really kind of bringing in some young talent. And we're excited to see how they match up against the other elite competition in the NE10.
Yeah, and a shout out to Nick. I know he's a West Genesee grad, and we do a lot with West Genesee here on the show. So a big shout out to everybody that has chosen to or will choose to be a Dolphin. And definitely here in Central and Upstate New York, it's good when you get to see a lot of people stay home. And that's Beeville, that's West Genny, that's CNS, that's CBA. There's a lot of schools here in the area, Liverpool, where we have the opportunity to see that talent stay in this community, and it's always a lot of fun. And really, the first Dolphin dive we did with Brian Perdomo, right. And the fact that I got to see him, a familiar face, walking by and say, "Oh, we get to keep you at LeMoyne." So it's always good to see some of this homegrown talent stay home.
And the men's golf team is positioned really well, Dan, for an NCAA berth in the spring. They've performed extremely well in regional competition this fall, and as we know, that sets the stage for really where you land in the spring. The fall has much to do with the regional rankings, and I think our men's golf team has positioned itself very well to make another NCAA appearance come the spring.
And you know that the golfers here in Central and Upstate New York enjoy that beautiful weather, but they're also chiseled, right? Rugged, because they've had to golf in some of the elements, which teaches you to, I would think, be even better at your craft.
And a little bit of mental toughness, and our guys are definitely, they're built like that. They're built and wired for difficult conditions, overcoming adversity, and we feel like they're going to make a nice run come the spring with the NCAAs.
And shout out when we're looking at how many birdies and different things that we've seen with the team this season. I'm happy to have one in a lifetime, and they're consistent with how well they play. So it's really incredible to see such a difficult sport. And you think, you're 300, 500 yards away from this hole. It's curved around the bend. You can't even see it at certain places. And how you can send that ball in the air and have the trajectory for it to fall in the hole or close to the hole. And it's just, the art of the game is absolutely incredible. And I would say, I know nothing is impossible, but it's one of the things in life I think that's pretty close to impossible.
Yeah, it's mind-boggling, and you talk about birdies and how hard it is to pick those up. Tyler Bird, I think registered 15 birdies during the NE10 championships, including 3 of the last 5 holes to claim medalist honors. So talk about mental toughness and precision and skill set. It's an amazing sport, and I'm always in awe in watching these young men practice their craft on the links, because it's something that's beyond my area of recognition of even being able to comprehend how talented they are on the course.
I know who's on my team for the corporate golf outing next.
That's exactly right. I know it's not me.
So, and the funny thing is too, you typically, I golfed this year with my dad and a couple of my father's friends, but
like you had said, you're there to, greet everyone and see everyone. That's typically what I do, right? I'm there to be the golf cart, driving around, seeing how people are doing interviews and whatnot. And I put myself out there this year, and I didn't do horrible, but I definitely, I'm the guy who likes to putt, and there's some putts that I thought didn't go my way.
Well, because you strokes on the course?
I did.
Well, you had fun though.
I had a great time.
You enjoyed
Amazing
yourself.
time. The weather was perfect. So.
Spend time with your family, so that's most important.
Yeah, no, the corporate golf outing, absolutely everything LeMoyne did was right, and sometimes it was a little too far to the left. So looking at the soccer side of things, the men's team at the time of our conversation is 3-2-5. The women's team is 4-4-2. You've had both of the coaches here on Dolphin Dive, Tom Bonus with the men's soccer team, and with Yaro Zavaslan coming in for the women's soccer team. And both of them, what they're doing right now, we've seen this men's team really hold serve and put themselves in a position to be a hopeful postseason team. And then on the women's side, we've seen recent victories that are really starting to show what you said to the team, as well as what Yaro said to the team and Magda, which is this is the moment where this team shifts. This is the turn. And I felt it, you felt it, and then a lot of people, yourself included, got to get around this team in the huddle and say, listen, this is the moment where we hook around that corner.
Yeah, it really is. I've been so impressed with the job that both Coach Bonus and Coach Zavaslan have done. With Coach Bonus, they've been in every game and made 5 ties, and some of that is a product of this year the NCAA eliminated overtime. So at the end of 90 minutes, if it's a draw, it's a draw, and we've had 5 of those this year. But we've been extremely competitive, and the bright side, we've been able to pull road points in all of those draws. So I think that our team is very talented. I think Tom's done a great job with them. They'll be positioned well for an NCAA for an NE10 tournament run, and we'll see what happens. They're dangerous. They have talented scorers. They're talented in the midfield area and have been impenetrable at times on the back line. So I think our men's soccer program has had a very solid year, and I'm so impressed with the job that Coach Yaro has done in the short time that he took over the program. As you know, Dan, he took over the program about 3 days before practice started, and he told us that it would take probably 6 to 8 weeks to get this team to the fitness level that they needed to be at, to be competitive in the NE10. And the NE10 is quite possibly the finest women's soccer conference in the country. We looked at the non-conference record earlier, and the NE10 was far and away the best in any Division II conference in the country. Our teams were just outstanding. Regularly have 3 to 4 teams nationally ranked, and right on cue, we get into the 6 to 8 week mark, and our women almost knock off St. Rose on the road. It's a tie game with 2 seconds to go. We talk about just a wrenching defeat where you're just gutted. They lose with 2 seconds, 2-1 to the defending national runner-up. They're ranked 11th at the time, and our ladies come right back. They show great resiliency. They had posted that huge win over Franklin Pierce, nationally ranked opponent, first one in over 10 years, where they were able to knock off a nationally ranked opponent here at home or on the road, but it was at home. And then went on the road this weekend, and a very solid victory down at New Haven. So they've positioned themselves now for a potential NE10 tournament berth, which is incredible. A year ago, our women's soccer team struggled. They had 2 wins overall, 1 in the conference, and really at the bottom of the standings pretty much all year long. And now you start to see this climb, and what's really awesome, Dan, I know you're around the program, and I know you won't say this, but you've kind of adopted them, I think, as one of your favorite programs too, to see these young ladies start to believe in themselves and believe in each other. And powerful things can happen when you start to grasp that belief and understand and confidence. And I think that's where we're at now. We have a stern challenge this weekend here at home, so we'll see how that comes out. But I'm so impressed with their resilience and the work that Coach Yar and his staff have done.
Yeah, Yaro's done a tremendous job, and yeah, I mean, you can say that. I would say that I have adopted this team, and I love all the teams here at LeMoyne, and everyone has a story to tell, and this women's team means a lot to me. The story they're telling right now because of everything they've been through, and 3 coaches in what felt like 5 minutes, and to see what they've done and how they've banded together, and they've gotten around this coaching staff, and the coaches have loved them up, and they've loved each other up, and they've worked so hard.
And I mean, to see all of the stories that I get to tell, and you know, just the wonderful tribute that they're all paying to each other in the sisterhood that they have on the field. And then, I mean, Tom Bonus, yeah, the thing is, you know, I expect it. You know, I expect what he's done to be on the positive side of things, and I expect this team to level up. And so to see the women's team coming along and to see this men's team on the winning side of things, and you look at, they're playing 10 games at the time that we've talked, and 2 of those are losses. You know, so of the 10 you've played, you have 5 draws, 3 wins, but only 2 of the times have you been on the wrong side of the win-loss column. So it says a lot about Tom, it says a lot about the team, it says a lot about the leadership, and you know, seeing both of these teams in a position to have winning records and play in the postseason is a beautiful thing. And so to the men and to the women, big shout out to what you're doing on the soccer field. I see you, I appreciate you, I'm watching, I'm looking on my phone wherever I am. And I'm always happy when I get to be here and see it on site and to see some of these things finally come through. So there's something so special about seeing a team continue to do well like Tom Bonus's teams, and then to see Yarrow come in and see this women's team, and it is. I mean, it puts a different smile on your face when you know what the girls have been through.
Yeah, everyone loves an underdog, and that's a great underdog story where they've been the past 18 months and where they've come from and all the challenges they've faced head on, and they've never wavered. They've shown great intestinal fortitude, great grit and resiliency, and you get so excited when they start to gain that positive reinforcement. As administrators or coaches, you see progress, but we preach all the time that sometimes the process is more important than the result. But at some point, players are players, and they need to get that positive reinforcement with a result. And now our ladies have begun to receive that positive reinforcement with results. And again, belief's a powerful thing, and we'll see what happens the rest of the month of October.
Yeah, faith, believing without seeing, and having that faith, and then when you start to see these things and say, okay, you know, I had that faith in this team, I had this belief without evidence, now we're starting to have these wins, so I have to keep the faith, and at the same time, you know, things are starting to come to fruition. There's a beautiful thing about faith, is that right when you think, why am I doing this, why am I believing, God throws you a little nugget, and even if it's tiny, you start to see that turnaround. Men's and women's tennis, I don't have to say this, but I will. Jeff Lonzak, a fantastic personality, humble guy, always great to talk to, and always concerned about everybody else. Dan, how are you doing? What can I do to help? And no matter how many times I throw all of the accolades at him, he sits there very comfortably and goes, yeah, that's good. But, you know, moving on to what they're doing now, he's so passionate. And I know that this is the women's season. It's a very unique thing that the men and the women get to compete, but the bulk of the men's side we'll see in the spring, the bulk of the women's side we're seeing right now. So just what you can take away from the fact that Jeff's work every year is impeccable, and here the women are doing what they could do to push themselves forward in the NE10, and knowing that the men we get to see a little bit of.
Yeah, you're exactly right. It is unique in that the men, their championship season is in the spring, and the women's championship season here in the fall. So we'll have the NE10 championships on the women's side coming up here in several weeks. But he's really done a nice job in terms of blending the schedule with top competition, and he's strayed out of the Division II realm to do that. Several contests against Division I opposition, against Colgate, against Binghamton yesterday. He's got several more on the slate. So I think he's trying to really battle test his group for the NE10 championships. While their overall record might not be as shiny as it was a year ago, they might be more battle tested come NE10 championship time. I do really admire the work that Jeff does consistently, particularly this year on the women's side, where he had to rebuild that entire roster. I think we have one player that's back from our top 8 from a year ago. We had such graduation losses. We had tremendous players that had contributed so much to the LeMoyne tennis program throughout their careers here, but at some point in time, unfortunately, we have to say goodbye to them. They graduate, which is a great thing. They graduate with degrees and go on to bigger and better things and begin their professional careers and contributors in society. But we do lose them on the tennis court, and we lose them on the basketball courts and on the soccer pitches. So we did say goodbye to some really talented athletes, and Jeff's done a nice job literally importing, because we have several international students on the women's side. And the majority of our men's team is back. They had a great showing at the ITAs a couple weekends ago. Tom, Jerry, Ethan Miller, really strong showings down there. So again, the fall is about getting in their repetitions, getting their practice, getting in their training sessions. And then for the men, the ultimate prize for the men will be the NE10 championships, and try to become a three-peat in the spring.
Yeah, a lot of great things going on the tennis side, and always appreciate the work that Jeff Lonzak's doing, and still playing himself, and still getting out there and killing it the way that he does. So, I hope that one day in our budding friendship, he'll oblige me to go out and just, let me hit it over the net a few times before he starts striking it back. But that's my thing. The way I play tennis is, if I hit it over the net, it's in play. That's it. As long as it's over,
I like those rules.
You got to get after it. And I thought I did pretty good. I thought I held my own when I was down on Long Island last summer playing for fun, and against somebody that plays all the time. And Veronica, shout out to you. She said I did all right, and I was like, whatever. She said I did okay. She did better than me.
Those adjectives are all relative. They're all relative. So all right is fine.
Yeah, I was like, listen, you play all the time. All right to me is great. So so I can appreciate the sport and what Jeff is doing, and thank you to the men and women that come from all over the world to play on these tennis teams, which is really incredible. And then on the volleyball side of things, we got to see this team get 2 matches in a row to get back to 500, and at the time we're talking 5 and 6, but have found a way to get some victories. You and I were sitting in after the Gold Wave class of 2022 was inducted into the LeMoyne Hall of Fame. We got to watch a victory where they went down 0-2 in sets, came back and won the next 3 convincingly. And Madeline Kennedy, who was just on Dolphin Dive, was a huge part of that.
Yeah, she's a huge part of all of our success. She's a great leader on that team, and that was a fantastic victory. Again, a tribute to their resilience, because they were down 2 sets to 2-0 early, and they really flipped that match on its side. And a great crowd for homecoming weekend, Doc Joyner weekend here, and I think they rode the emotion of that crowd to victory. Subsequently went on the road last week, dropped a tough match down in New Haven, and now again tonight against Damon. That'll be a tough match, and another non-conference match over the weekend at Queens. But then the volleyball team will really begin in earnest its NE10 regular season schedule. So that's really where we're going to start to see the true personality of that team. Right now, 5 and 6, the majority of those matches have been non-league matches, I should say. They'll really gear up for conference play here within the next week.
So as we take a look through the fall, it's also important to continue the conversation of reclassification and realignment. This is the first place you got to hear LeMoyne talk about this publicly, and we have carried the exclusive series all the way through with Athletics Director Bob Beretta and President Dr. Linda Lemura. You came on the show to set the record straight last week on some misinformation that was out there. What can you tell us about where we're at right now?
Yeah, Dan, and I appreciate the opportunity. We had a great session late last week, and subsequently not much new has transpired. I can tell you that the document that we put out for public consumption, we have been receiving feedback on. That'll stay out for consumption, for forever, for eternity, but we'll begin and make a recommendation to the president based on all of our discussions, all of our analyses, all of the feedback that we received during this process. We do have an open forum tomorrow, another one, and this one is targeted for alums of LeMoyne. So if you're watching this, I say tomorrow, but it's really Wednesday, it's today. And if fans are interested, contact the alumni office today before noon, and we can make sure that you sign up and get registered for that. I know there are over 100 people signed up as of Tuesday morning, and we're going to talk about all the things that we've talked about, the 5 open forums so far. I'll be on that. The President Linda Lemura will be on that, along with our CFO, Joe Grasso, and some others. But we have that session. That'll probably be our last public open forum that we hold. The document is out. It'll stay out for another week to 10 days. Our committee will then reconvene. Right now, our committee's on a little bit of a break, which is great because we've met 26 times since June, and I happen to be the secretary of that committee in addition to me. So I get to take all the minutes. So after taking minutes for 26 meetings, I'm kind of appreciative of the break.
Yeah.
But we'll get together, we'll reconvene, we'll make a recommendation to the president, and then the president will, at that time, decide whether she wants to move our recommendation forward to the Board of Trustees. In terms of the national landscape, what we're hearing, since really we last talked too, and there was some news on Tuesday, a little bit about the Transformation Committee, and I think that's what is caused this pause on the national front right now, because none of us in the industry know what the Transformation Committee is going to come back with when it has to do with Division I membership, and that's what they're tackling right now. What does that mean? What does maintaining membership or gaining membership at the Division I level mean? And that's what the Transformation Committee is having dialogue on right now. We don't know what that means. Are there going to be floors or maximums? Are there going to be floors or ceilings? Whether it's scholarships, whether it's staffing, the bit of information that we've gained is whatever the Transformation Committee comes back with, it's going to be student focused in terms of student athlete experience, student health and wellness. So there may be some minimums in staffing that they put in place. There could be some scholarship minimums that you have to reach in certain sports. We don't know. And I think the conferences are really taking a pause right now to see, is that going to impact their current membership?
Yeah.
We don't know. There could be current members at the Division I level that aren't capable of maintaining that status based on what comes back from the Transformation Committee. What we've heard, though, it has more to do with maybe lifting the ceilings than establishing floors, which would probably create a greater divide between the Autonomy 5 conference schools and everyone else, because, for instance, if you're limited in baseball to 11.7 scholarships currently at the Division I level, if they take the ceiling off of that and they allow the Power Fives or allow anyone unlimited scholarship numbers up to your roster number, that certainly creates a greater divide, because the mid-majors aren't going to be capable of meeting those numbers, while the Power Fives will decide where they invest their money.
Yeah.
So we're hopeful that it has more to do with ceilings and floors, but we'll see. And I think that's what's caused this pause right now, both on the national front and in the regional front in terms of conference realignment.
Yeah, a cause for pause as we look at this Transformation Committee, but to go to the conferences that we have spoken about really from the beginning.
Right.
The MAC, the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference, as well as the NEC, the Northeast Conference, and anything you can tell us about these potential good fits if and when you were to really look at saying, hey, we want to reclassify to Division I. I know that these have been the conferences that we've talked about, and when you released the public document, after months of us discussing these conferences,
Right.
you showed what the map would look like for LeMoyne if being a part of either one.
And we have ongoing conversations with those commissioners, Commissioner Morris from the NEC and Commissioner Ensor from the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference. I have regular dialogues with them, spoke with both commissioners last week, and to just gain some information on where they might be in terms of their membership, and to allow both commissioners a peek at where we are as an institution as well, keep them apprised of our process and where we stand and where we might be leaning and those kinds of things. So I think it's incredibly important to maintain those lines of communications. It's all about relationships.
Yeah.
It always is. You know,
Yeah.
if it's not about television money, at the Power 5 level, it's all about relationships, and so I think those are very important. And so we're working very diligently to maintain those types of contact opportunities with both commissioners, and we're just going to kind of wait and see how the process plays out now.
How do you feel these conversations have gone and kind of the back and forth?
Yeah, I think LeMoyne is going to be an appealing candidate at the Division I level for any conference. I think financially we have great stability, which is a tribute to our leadership, our endowment per student. It speaks to the resiliency of this institution coming out of COVID, that we're looking to grow rather than just scurry and try to maintain. But of course, when you have a president like Dr. Lemura, you're going to always look to grow and be aggressive. And that's kind of who we are as an institution. We're always looking for more. It's Magis, it's that Jesuit instinct that we have to always look for something maybe a little bit better if we can, and then try to measure the risk and reward. I think from an academic standpoint, LeMoyne is a highly appealing candidate, but not only in our graduation rates, our retention rates, but our academic program as a whole is impressive. Our business school, our nursing school, the Jesuit nature of our institution, but also the liberal arts degree that those can earn. All pluses, and I think the investment level that we've made here in our programs recently and what we have planned. We have over $1 million in renovations planned for next summer in our athletic facilities. And then we have a long-term plan over 5 years where we're looking that it might be as much as $10 million. Could be as much as $20 million if we have some benefactors stand up from a philanthropy standpoint and express the interest in having a lead donor towards a field house, let's say. We could exercise that opportunity now to execute something. So we have audacious goals, and I think that's what you would expect as a LeMoyne graduate and a fan of LeMoyne, that we're always going to look to grow, we're always going to look to improve, and we're going to always look to improve the student experience, not just the student athlete experience. And I think that's really what this is about. This is about the long-term growth strategy of the institution, and if we have an opportunity and it makes the most sense for us as an institution holistically, then I think we'll strongly consider a move to Division I.
Yeah, and what I think is beautiful in any relationship and anything you're doing in life, that you don't wait until the opportunity presents itself to be ready. You are ready, so you don't have to get ready. And that's the thing about LeMoyne, is that no decision's been made yet. However, the plans are in place of all of these upgrades and spending money and expanding and extending and bringing even a better student athlete experience and overall student body experience and a great experience to the alumni and to teachers and coaches and everyone that's part of this Finn family. That's what I love. You're not waiting to say, okay, yeah, we want to go Division I, so now we have to do this, this, and this, and let's rush and scurry to it. You're saying these are the things we're going to do that will make us either a great Division II school or a great asset to a Division I conference.
No doubt about it, Dan. I'm a huge believer in preparing for success. I've been parts of programs that were prepared for success and then were able to capitalize and then able to maintain that success. And I've also been part of programs that weren't prepared for success when success knocked on the door, and we didn't potentially capitalize or maximize the benefits of that success. So here at LeMoyne, we firmly wanted to be prepared for success. That's why we did the work dating back to January. And I believe that we're going to be positioned extremely well to capitalize on any opportunity that will come before on our front porch. And there's so many positives to this. We find the expansion of our footprint so important at a time where higher education is so competitive right now. And to be able to potentially expand our footprint into some very desirable regions of the country, that's exciting for us. It's something that really interests us and I think positions the institution for long-term success.
Coming from Athletics Director of LeMoyne College, Bob Beretta, and myself, Dan Tortora, aka DT, for this edition of AD and DT, your exclusive series on reclassification and realignment. Started with us and will continue with us all throughout the process and beyond. And of course, I'll look at all the fall sports. And as I know Bob to be a leader of many sorts and wear a lot of different hats, he can also be your home stenographer, as we learned now.
That's right.
So as always, you all stay safe, stay well, and hopefully we don't have to bundle up yet.
Not yet.
So I hope you can continue to get to wear shorts. I like shorts and a sweatshirt. That's my favorite weather. So please be well out there, be good to each other, and as always, Bob, fins up.
Fins up, Dan.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
We'll talk with you soon. Avicoli's, located on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, has been your trusted neighbor for decades. Located just steps from Liverpool High School, we're happy to have the Liverpool Warriors on-site, on-location broadcast at Avicoli's through Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora every single month, featuring student athletes, coaches, and administration throughout the year from Liverpool High School. Head out to Avicoli's today on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road in Liverpool, New York, open Tuesday Tuesday through Sunday for lunch, dinner, and drinks. We'd love to see you out there. And of course, you can call them at 315-622-5100 for takeout, delivery, and catering. That's 315-622-5100. And also find them on myavocollis.com. That's myavocollis.com.
Having peace of mind when you're out of town that your furry-loving friend is safe and sound means taking them to Canine Campground, because we all know that when it comes to the love of our pets, it goes well beyond the call of duty to make sure they're safe and sound. Right, Lily? So take a ride to 242 Johnson Street in East Syracuse, New York, and see Canine Campground and where your dog will be staying in the classic cabin, the executive cabin, the grand cabin, or of course the luxury cabin, because if you know Lily, you know she loves luxury. Now you don't have to wait to the last minute to find a family member or a friend that'll take your dog for a few days. Call Canine Campground at 315-299-4013. That's 315-299-4013. Their drop-off and pickup times are Monday through Sunday. Check K9campground.com for more information. That's the letter K, the number 9, and campground spelled with a K.com. K9campground.com.
When you're going out of town, bring your dog to Canine Campground.
PB&J's Lunchbox, the food truck that you love finding all throughout Central and Upstate New York, now has a street-side cafe. So when you're craving their traditional favorites as well as their out-of-box amazing menu items, you can now head to 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Located just minutes from the highway, the Thruway, Destiny USA, and Onondaga Lake Parkway, PB&J's Lunchbox Street-Side Cafe is there for you Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m., serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all throughout the day. Get breakfast for dinner, dinner for lunch, whatever you fancy, including their award-winning grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Find them at 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. PB&J's Lunchbox, where we love to know what's in your lunchbox. As a patient, what do we want? To be cared for, to be listened to, and to have someone walk us through the process on our path to victory. Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics does all of those things beautifully, with Dr. Mark Petropoli leading the team on 791 West Genesee Street in Skaneateles, New York, located minutes from beautiful Skaneateles Lake. Whatever your injury may be from head to toe, preventative care, rehab, physical therapy, laser therapy, and surgery are all available at Victory Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, where they care about us, they listen to us, and they understand that everyone's path to victory is a little bit different. Let them help you on yours by calling 315-685-7544 to make your appointment today. That's 315-685-7544. And find out more information at victorysportsmedicine.com.
My good people of the internet, happy to be here with you on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. It is where sports meets life, and we are always happy to be here every Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, hanging out with you. And I'm always happy to welcome all the fantastic guests that we have on the show. At this point, we have featured, I would say, upwards of 3,000, if not passing that number of people that have been on this broadcast, which has been a beautiful tribute. I don't say the number to be like, wow, Dan, look at, high number, this and that. I say it because when I say we've had 3,000, 3,500, whatever it is at this point, people on the show, those people have been incredible. And the stories that we've gotten to tell, that they've allowed us to tell, the things we've gotten to do to hopefully make this world a better place, a smaller place in a good way, has been extremely beneficial to me. And a lot of these conversations have changed my life for the better. So when you're listening, this isn't just a sports show. It's where sports meets life. And always, always happy to be able to celebrate these conversations and celebrate these people with you. So with that being said, we do have another one of those incredible guests coming on the show here in just a second. I do want to get to Kevin. Kevin said, Dan, another interesting interview and update. Listening from San Diego today. So I always say shout out from the East Coast, the West Coast, the Midwest, and all over the world. So shout out to San Diego, which was it Ron Burgundy thinks it does not stand for Saint Diego. It stands for something else, and I won't say that on the show today. But a Wales special place, I guess, is what we'll say. So happy to be here with you, where sports meets life, and definitely want to get myself out to San Diego. I've heard nothing but good things about San Diego. So one of my best friends is out there. Shout out to Donald Godwin, one of my close buddies. And speaking of best friends, I don't think they get any closer than this one. I don't think there's any better best than this one. And there's some music and stuff going on in the back. That music that Ross is playing in the background, that's some dancing music. That's some hip moving music. But Ross Turetsky here with us, a local sportscaster and writer, and trying to throw me off my game right now with that music in the background, get me all dancing and hip with it. I'm gonna break down in the studio. Hi, so, but always happy to have Ross on the show. Ross Turetsky coming to us from Northeast PA. One of the best people I know. Like I said, I think the best friend you can ask for, and just a good person, and also a writer and a sportscaster in this crazy world of the media that we live in. So with that being said, let's bring him in. Ross, how are you?
I'm very good. That's actually my son LJ. He is watching Hotel Transylvania 2, and it just had some cool music in the background. So he's breaking a move, busting a move, and he's enjoying life on this hump day in early October. So, no, all good stuff. Yeah. And, very excited. We're about to have postseason baseball in 2 days on Friday. That's not fake news. And, today's the end of the regular season, 162 games. I know my wife kind of jokes it feels like they play every single day for the almost all 12 months of the year. It never ends.
Because your wife and I are in we are regular. Not, I don't want to say regular. We're not regular. We're not your average human, but we are rational, logical people.
Like baseball fans, hardcore baseball fans.
Yeah.
So it's never enough. We want baseball in the wintertime. In January, we wish we could just shovel.
The only time you don't have it is December and January. That's the only time. If there's a couple more weeks added to baseball, it will be a 12-month season.
Because February, around Valentine's Day, is spring training in Florida. Yeah. Makes you feel warmer. November, the World Series now stretches past Halloween into early November. I think this year we'll go into the first week of November. Before long, it's going to go to Thanksgiving and Christmas. So it's never ending. And then the off-season's coming. All I have to say is for the Yankees, pay the man. Aaron Judge, congrats. American League home run record. According to Roger Maris' son, and I agree with him, the clean, true home run king, the 62 home runs, but yet he's a free agent and could sign anywhere and leave the Yankees high and dry. And in my mind, it's not really his fault if he leaves. It's the Yankees. You're the richest franchise in all sports. Pay the man. Show him the money. So I hope they do that. And with the San Diego stuff, I agree. I've heard good things about it. It's supposed to be the most beautiful weather, like in the whole country, maybe around the world. It's like it doesn't get much hotter than 75 degrees, not too hot, not too cold, right in the sweet spot. And, of course, anchorman Ron Burgundy, he says, you stay classy, San Diego. And he talks about a whale's you-know-what, but I can't say that one for all the kids. As Dave Portnoy from Barstool Sports says, it's a kid's show, so I will not say the word. But you know what I'm talking about if you've watched Anchorman.
Yeah, and I have also say it's a whale's blank, but you know what? Just like San Diego, we're gonna stay classy. So
it's a whale's mouthful. That's as far as I'll
one of them, yeah. So it's I just made it worse, but
yes, I probably made it worse too with my innuendo. But what can you say? Yeah. It's hump day. You got to get it going somehow.
Yeah, the reality of it all is if you listen to Ross and I enough together, we'll say we're not going to say something, and we'll make jokes all the way to it until we eventually say it. So
yeah, I was surprised you didn't go Michael Scott when I said you got to get it going on a hump day. You said that's what she said. I was expecting that, so you're off your game, buddy. Hopefully that changes the next few minutes.
Yeah, no, it was definitely there when you talked about Hump Day and you talked about you got to get it going some way. I was like, well, yeah, you can definitely get it going with San Diego. So, but it's we love the beautiful, wonderful city of San Diego, and whatever Ron Burgundy has referred to you as, that was his choice, not ours. And
they're going to be in the playoffs. They were in the pandemic-shortened season.
Only 82 games behind the Dodgers, right?
Yes, the Dodgers are destroying everyone. So if they don't win the World Series, it's going to be a gigantic collapse. There's so much pressure on the Dodgers. They need to win it all because they set all these records, won an insane amount of games. But the Padres, they have all these superstar players. They underachieved. One of the faces of baseball, Fernando Tatis Jr., got a big contract extension. Then he got popped for before he hit some drugs, so he's out for the season. But they got Juan Soto from Washington, a superstar. They have Manny Machado. They have a lot of superstars. And the Padres are going to be in the playoffs. First time in a full season making the playoffs since 2006. They made it that short pandemic year 2 years ago. And they're going to be playing in the Big Apple in your neck of the woods. You're home of the Syracuse Mets, AAA Mets, which a lot of the guys coming up through the system used to play from Binghamton and then from Syracuse. And they got called up, including the top prospect, Alvarez, who hit his first home run in the big leagues last night. And it's going to be Padres at Mets. The playoff field is set. Padres at Mets in the new format. It's not winner take all, one wild card game, 162 games, and then you can be knocked out after one game. It was exciting, but it was painful if you lose and you're knocked out after one game. It's now going to be best of three in the wild card series, so you have to win 2 out of 3 games. You have a little more fair playing field, especially because most of the time of the regular season, the average series is 3 games. So whoever wins 2 out of 3 in New York, Padres and Mets, that's going to decide who goes to the division series, because then the other teams, the top 2 seeds, have a first round bye, like the Yankees in the American League and the Astros in the American League. They go straight to the ALDS, and they will host their best-of-5 series next week. Yankees' first playoff game is Tuesday. And then the Braves caught the Mets, even though they both won 100 games. Braves are going to get a first-round bye, and it's going to be Cardinals and Phillies. Phillies broke their playoff drought of 11 years. The Mariners of the AL side, they broke their 21-year playoff drought. They will be playing the Toronto Blue Jays up north, where you love your Toronto Raptors. It's going to be Toronto Blue Jays hosting the Mariners for 3 games. So it's going to be very interesting to see how it goes. And, of course, the Dodgers have a first-round bye, and it's Padres and the Mets in the wild card round. So playoff field is set. Wild card series, all 3 games are going to be this weekend. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be like triple headers every day. And then come the beginning of the week on Tuesday, the Yankees and all the teams that survived to the division series will get to play in a best-of-5 format. So I'm very excited. They had an extra wild card spot. So playoff baseball is here, and there's nothing really like it. It's very exciting, and it's right smack dab in the middle of football season, and basketball hockey is about to come back too.
Yeah, it's crazy that it's right here, and we're about to get back into, we're about to obviously see a lot of different things that are happening here when it comes to the sports world. College football is in week 6, the NFL is in week 5, which we're going to talk about in hour number 2 with the Fantasy Football Power Hour, and proudly presented by the Wildcat Sports Pub every Wednesday in hour 2, where I talk about every team, every game, everybody that's out there, and then answer your questions as well. So we've got a lot of good stuff coming up with that. But yeah, baseball, as we are here in October, this used to be toward the end. Back when baseball wasn't played 13 months out of the year, there was a time where, baseball would end. If it went to my birthday, it was the latest, and that, October 21st was the latest time that we saw baseball. And now,
I don't think the World Series starts till October 28th, so it's going to definitely go into November.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing, it's going to keep rocking and keep rolling, and pretty crazy to see, how this has, developed over the years. But yeah, we have a best-of-3 series in the wild card, so if you catch fire, in one game, you're not punished for what you did in 162 games if you were the better team and that other team just has a better night against you. It doesn't bite you in the butt, which I love that. And also love the fact of the expanded playoff. I like the fact that, we're seeing an extra team on both sides here, so it's going to make for more interesting baseball and a more interesting postseason. The funny thing about this postseason and looking at everything here is that, the Yankees, the Tampa Bay Rays, and the Toronto Blue Jays, each of these three teams, and I've said it over and over again, if I talk about this, if you go back and watch 3 months ago, 2 months ago, 3 weeks ago, whatever it may be, they were all in the playoffs if the playoffs had happened that day. The Braves, the Mets, and the Phillies, same thing. They were all in the playoffs. The East Division on both sides of the American League and the National League has been the best division on both sides when it comes to baseball. When you look at it,
3 playoff teams, which is crazy. 3 playoff teams from each of those divisions.
Yeah,
it's just amazing how competitive it is. So I'm glad there are extra wildcard spots, because back in the day, only one team would have made it out of that division. With pre-wildcard, if you didn't win that division, you were out of luck. The Mets, who won 100 games but got edged out by the world champion Braves, they would have been home for October baseball. They would have had no chance to play for the World Series, which would, it's a crime to me, because the Mets have had a great season. The Braves edged them out, but the Mets have been amazing. They deserve a crack at this thing. And I like there's also some Cinderella stories. And how about the last time the Mariners made the playoffs 21 years ago? My sister, who now is 21 years old, she was 6 months old, and I think you were 16, I was 15 years old, and I was in high school. I was in my sophomore year of high school, and now I just turned 36, and you're about to turn 37. So if you want to feel old, the last time the Mariners made the playoffs, the iPhone didn't exist. The first iPod just came out, and it was a long time ago. Gas prices were insanely cheap compared to they are now. 2001 seems like a million years ago, and that's the last time Seattle had made the playoffs until now.
Yeah, and that's, and then go back and you look on it, and you talk about gas prices being so low and all these beautiful things that we had. And, I remember when gas was 99 cents a gallon. And
I do. In 1998, I remember my mom driving out of her way, wasting time and gas to get 98 cents gas, which made no sense, but she loved the idea of paying under $1 per gallon.
Yeah, it was a great time in the history of America. Some people would call it fake news, and because we haven't seen it in a million years, but it's definitely it was a different time when we saw them make it, when we saw the Mariners do it, and it was just I think when we go back to that time and we see that, and I think about what the Mariners used to be, and obviously growing up and watching Ken Griffey Jr. and all that, and collecting his cards and all those things. I mean, it seems like forever for them, and you just painted the picture of over 2 decades ago, and that it really does feel like forever with the amount of time in between. And then you look at the Mets. You look at what the Mets have done and how they've come forward, and the Braves on their side of it. The Braves last year, I said that they were the weakest team going into the playoffs last year, and I think a lot of people would have agreed with me. And then they turn around and catch fire at the right time, and they win the World Series, and then they get 1 game over the Mets to win the division, give them a bye in the first 2 seeds, and it's the difference between the Mets having to play in the wild card versus the Mets being able to sit and watch and automatically advance to the next round. So that one game,
it's a major advantage though, because now you can set up your starter rotation. Like the Mets have Jacob deGrom, Max Scherzer, only superstar pitchers, but now instead of resting them for the division series, they have to fight for their lives, because they have to win that wild card series, or their season is done this weekend. So they're going to have to use those pitchers, and it's not really wasted. But then if they do survive and play the next round, they will have to then set it up all over again. I think they're playing the Dodgers if they get out of that round, and then they will not have their top pitchers available for the first few games of that series. So it's a major advantage. Besides that, I guess the only thing is you can knock off the rust, and maybe the teams that have the bye the first round, they'll be rusty because they'll only have some batting practice on the side. But it's a major advantage to set up your rotation exactly the way you want. And the other thing I wanted to point out before I forget is, speaking of 2001, Albert Pujols, the great Pujols, who hit his 700th career home run, was lightning, was insane in the second half. So I think he hit 20-something home runs in the second half. He is finishing until today, at least. They play at Pittsburgh. Everyone plays at 410. He's at 703 career home runs. He was a rookie in 2001. His first at bat in St. Louis, he hit a home run. His last at bat in St. Louis on Sunday, he hit a home run. So he's had an amazing career. He's 4th all-time on the home run list, 2nd all-time on the RBI list, passing Babe Ruth. And a lot of the country, I know you're talking the Dodgers are the favorites, probably Dodgers and Astros. Dodgers, if I had to pick, would beat the Astros to get revenge for the trash can cheated scandal from 5 years ago. Beat the Astros in the World Series. You know, I'm partial. I'd love a Subway Series, New York versus New York, like in 2000. But a lot of the country is going to be rooting for St. Louis because Yadier Belida, their great catcher for many years, and Albert Pujols, unless they change their minds, they plan to retire at the end of this season. So this is one final rodeo, and they've all won championships before, but I think a lot of people want to see them go the distance and finish their careers with a World Series championship in St. Louis, where it all began. So that's going to also be kind of thrilling to see how far St. Louis can go on their playoff journeys and see if Pujols can end his career with another championship.
Yeah, you know, it is. I mean, when we look at this breakdown and we look at everything that we have going into this wild card, for those of you that need a little primer here for what's coming up, with the Astros are in first place of the American League, so they will have a bye. The Yankees are in second place, so they will have a bye. And then the Cleveland Guardians will be playing as one of those top three teams that wins your division but still has to compete in this. The Tampa Bay Rays will be on the docket. So Cleveland Guardians, Tampa Bay Rays, and we'll see the Toronto Blue Jays and the Seattle Mariners. Seattle creeping up into, as Ross was talking about, getting back into the playoffs, but creeping up above Tampa and finding a way to squeak in here. Everybody's focused on the Yankees and the Astros in the American League, which leaves little focus on the fact that, like we were talking about, 50% of the American League side is coming from the American League East and 50% from the National League side is coming from the NL East. So the two East divisions really holding serve and holding their own. The Toronto Blue Jays and the Tampa Bay Rays, obviously that overshadowing of Aaron Judge chasing number 62, getting number 62. So you don't hear a lot of conversation about these Blue Jays or these Rays, and I think that, that could be to a positive for both of these teams to sneak into the playoffs and have an opportunity to advance forward.
They're very underrated.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
The other thing is, what's interesting with this wild card series, it's, as you said, it's not just one game winner take all, so it's a little more fair. It's best of three.
Yeah.
But all three games are all going to be at the team with the higher seeds home ballpark with their fans. So it's a major advantage. Like the Mets will be at home in their series over the Padres. The Phillies are going to be on the road for all three games in St. Louis. Cleveland will be at home for all three games against Tampa. And Toronto gets all three home games this weekend against the Mariners. So it's a major advantage to have all the home games in your ballpark. You don't have to travel. And you get last at-bats, which is always a major advantage. So if it's a close game, it's and I don't think if it goes extra innings, I think in the playoffs it goes back to the old school baseball where you have to earn it, because I can't stand the ghost runners. I hope that ends next regular season. We have the automatic runner at second. It ends the games quicker, but you had no business being on second base. Right. It's like a Mickey Mouse, like beer league softball rule. So I think they'll play it straight up, but you will get last at-bats because you were in your home ballpark and you get the whole three games. So I think it's an incredible advantage. So that's another thing to look out for.
Yeah, no, it's going to be very, very awesome to see. We've been talking about these playoffs for so long, and now we finally get to see them come to fruition. And we have an awesome slate of games that is coming up. I mean, Friday, October 7th, exactly 2 weeks before my birthday here, we have Seattle at Toronto for Game 1 on Friday, October 7th. We have Tampa Bay at Cleveland, San Diego at the New York Mets, and Philadelphia at St. Louis. So we're going to see everybody in action, as Ross said, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday if needed. So we will
full day of baseball. Which
every day.
For me, as an insane psychopath who loves baseball, I love it. I can't get enough. It's going to be a massive withdrawal when it ends. But what a heck of a ride it's going to be, whoever wins it all. Of course, I'm partial to the Yankees and Mets, and I'm happy with the Phillies finally getting in after an 11-year playoff drought. But whoever wins it all, it's going to be amazing, and then kind of sad when it's all over. But at least, you have football, basketball, and hockey to kind of console you during that time. But, yeah, lots of baseball every single day, and I'm hoping there's not a whole bunch of sweeps in the best-of-3 wild card this weekend because, of course, if you win the first two games, you don't have to play the third game. The series is over. So I'm hoping we at least get a few winner-take-all, do-or-die Game 3s on Sunday. So I'm hoping we get some of those because then it becomes like the one-game wild card like we had the last few years. So that would be exciting. I'm just hoping for thrilling baseballs, walk-off home runs, thrilling memories and experiences that you'll never forget. And as we started talking about it when I came on, I already have one of the ultimate experiences getting to see Aaron Judge finally break the single-season American League home run record that stood for 61 years from Roger Maris, and now he has 62 in 2022. He'll probably get a much-deserved day off because he's played like 60 games in a row because they were trying to give him every chance, every game opportunity to play. Because after a while, it was like Barry Bonds back when they just walked him nonstop, and it was very frustrating. They got into a judge at bat, and they're like, "Oh, you're so excited," and then they just put up 4 fingers to intentionally walk him. So it felt like they were jerking you around basically. It was such a letdown. So I'm so happy he finally got it. He got the record. His family was there. Roger Maris' son was there. And as I said, Roger Maris believes that now his father was the true home run king, and now the judge is the true clean home run king compared to Bonds, McGuire, and Sosa, who all allegedly cheated on steroids. Just like I think Hank Aaron is the true career home run king, and Barry Bonds, a great player, will never make the Hall of Fame, has no business being the home run king, single season or career-wise, because of how he tainted the game and basically ruined things as a role model for young kids coming up, because he told them that you could be an amazing player, but you could take a shortcut and cheat and put harmful things in your body. But as long as you do well, play amazing, make lots of money, it's all worth it. It's a horrible example, and I hope Judge stays clean, and I hope Judge can be an exemplary role model for years to come, hopefully as a Yankee.
Yeah, and we'll talk about Judge here in a second to make some final points here. The Braves and the Mets came down to the wire here of who was going to win the division. Last year, it was who wants to take a division that nobody really seemed to want, right? The Mets lost DeGrom, and the Braves are trying to get it, and the Phillies are trying to get it, and at one point the Nationals were trying to get it. So it was, who wants to take this division that just kind of fell off the rails, and nobody was really commanding anything. And then this year,
this weekend, Atlanta swept them in all 3 games. The Mets had a chance. If they would have just won 1 game in Atlanta this weekend, they would have won the division. Atlanta came in and destroyed them, and they had to face DeGrom, Scherzer, and Chris Bass had 3 of the best Mets pitchers and 3 of the best pitchers in the game, and the Braves smacked them around and really showed them we're the champions, and until further notice, we're better than you. So maybe in the playoffs will be a different story if they get to have a rematch. I'm sure the Mets will love to get some revenge on Atlanta, some sweet revenge. But right now, Atlanta embarrassed them, and they took the division by sweeping them in all 3 games in Atlanta over the weekend.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Last year, it was who wants to take this division, where everybody was fighting to lose and still win it, I guess. And then this year, everybody was winning, vying for the division, right? The Phillies were sticking in the playoffs. The Braves and the Mets were battling each other. And again, we look at this 3 months ago, and those 3 teams were in it. We look at it now, and those 3 teams are in it. And it says a lot about what they have done in the NL East, because the Milwaukee Brewers have been a half a game back, a game back. They've been right there at the cusp, almost at the party, standing at the nightclub, about to get let in on the red carpet, about to have the bouncer open up that line for you and take that rail off and let you in. And the Phillies shut it down. They Dikembe Mutombo'd the Milwaukee Brewers. So, they took that away. And so, this division from last year to this year, it's night and day. Now, last year, if we had a healthy DeGrom, then we're obviously having another conversation. But without a healthy DeGrom last year, toward the latter part of the season, and seeing that division be as not great as it was, and knowing somebody had to win it, it's really nice to see it this time around, where these teams just kept fighting, kept on it, maybe beat up on each other a little bit, but didn't let anybody else take their spot, which was a really, really cool way to see how things shook out this year, with the Braves defending their championship and then seeing the Mets be just a game behind. And like you said, Ross, in a 3-game series with 1 opportunity, all they needed to do was try and cancel them out 1 time, and the Mets up against the Braves won it fair and square late in the season, head-to-head in their division. And the schedule is made prior to the season, obviously, but it always comes down in sports to games where you're like, how did this poetically get put together this perfectly? And that is exactly what the Mets and the Braves series look like. Whoever wins this wins the division. And so it kind of was like a 163rd game. And we saw, that this thing come out, even though there is no 163rd anymore, we still got to get the feel of it, which I thought was really cool. And speaking of the 60s, we're going to stay with the man that's on the screen right now. Aaron Judge, as you know, judge, jury, and executioner. I changed it up last night to Judge, Yankee, and home run hitter. Number 62, Roger Maris hit 61 home runs in 1961, and 61 years later, Aaron Judge ties him and surpasses him in the first inning last night, is able to, in a doubleheader in Game 2, first inning against the Rangers on the road, send it yard and get number 62 to become the first American League player ever in the history of baseball to have 62 home runs in a single season. My niece Lorelai is a giant Aaron Judge fan. She has the stuffed animal.
Excited.
Yeah.
She was so pumped last night.
So bring me into you. You're a forever Yankee. You grew up nearby. You've been going to games forever. Your daughter is a huge Aaron Judge fan. Bring me into what it was like to see this through the eyes of Ross Turetsky last night.
Oh, it was just incredible. Like, she watches every at-bat with her eagle eye, and she just loves it. Like, she can't get enough. Like, sometimes the games come on too late or they finish up too late, so then we watch the instant replays in the morning before she goes to kindergarten. She's that obsessed with it. So I know my wife sometimes gets frustrated with it, but I basically have brainwashed her to be an Aaron Judge Yankee fan at a very young age, so I have a lifelong, hopefully a lifelong partner to watch these games with that I love so much since I was a little kid. And what's really incredible, now the top 3 American League home run leaders in a single season are all Yankees, and I think all Yankee right fielders. 60 home runs in 1927 for the great Bambino, Babe Ruth. Then 34 years later, 1961, Roger Maris hit 61 homers. And then now it's 62 homers in 2022. In 2022, the great Aaron Judge hit 62 homers. So 60, 61, and 62. Judge, Maris, and Babe Ruth, 3 amazing Yankee power hitting outfielders, and they now are in the top 3 home run single season leaders in American League history, and they're all Yankees. So not only did he break an American League home run record and potentially the clean home run record, Aaron Judge last night, he also now has the most home runs in a single season ever for the such a great franchise like the New York Yankees. So it's really an incredible moment. So when it happened, I actually, to tell you the truth, because we saw the first game of the doubleheader, and I was watching with her. She saw a few at-bats, so she got out of school at 4 o'clock. We went to my favorite band for my birthday over the weekend. My wife got us tickets, and it was on a Tuesday night at State College in Penn State. We drove the 2 hours to go see The Killers, which is a great band. They were really big when we were going to college at Marywood around 2006 and stuff like that. So I got to see them perform. And then all of a sudden, we were like trying to check the home runs. Is he going to do it in game 2? It started at 8 o'clock. The band didn't come on until almost 9 o'clock. They had an opener. And then also I got some friends saying, Judge, a lot of exclamation points. I'm like, he either broke the record or he went crazy and threw baseball bats at people. I don't know. Something happened with Judge. So I clicked onto it, saw he hit the home run, and then I instantly sent my daughter, Nana was watching her overnight, the video, and she got to see it right before she was going to get put to bed. And it was like a great lullaby. But while she was reading her bedtime story, she got to watch Aaron Judge make history and hit this home run 61 years later after Maris had set the record. So it was an incredible moment. Didn't get to watch it live, which would have been cool. We've watched so many of the games and watched for every one of his at-bats. Even when we're on the road somewhere, we watch the Yes app and we're trying to watch his at-bats, and they've been cutting into games. Even on like college football games, people get annoyed they cut into Judge at-bats. This time I was actually at a concert and got to see the highlight, and as soon as I saw it, sent it over to Nana's phone so then my daughter could see it as her lullaby to go to bed last night. So she was so excited. And then when she woke up, we watched a little bit of the instant replay because it was the first inning, first at-bat. As the leadoff hitter, she got to watch it when we watched the replay on the Yes Network this morning before we went out to the school bus. So she was excited to go to bed knowing Judge hit the home run, and before she got onto the school bus knowing that he hit the home run. And she's wearing her pink V-neck Aaron Judge 99 shirt that we got her at a Yankee game a few months ago, and she's wearing it proudly. And the school bus driver is a big Yankee fan, and they were all like, it was a great icebreaker. You know, sometimes she could be a little shy with people she doesn't know. They all wanted to talk to Lorelai. Lulu was the center of attention getting on that bus. They're like, oh, Aaron Judge. They were like clapping for her like it was actual Aaron Judge walking onto the bus. Like they all applauded, saying, oh, it's so amazing. And they were just so impressed of what he had done. And basically, as an extension to that, my daughter was an Aaron Judge walking onto the bus. And she was very popular today. So she's very proudly wearing her shirt. She even has another shirt she wears where it's like a big heart and a number 99 saying, this girl loves Aaron Judge. So needless to say, if he somehow signs elsewhere this whole season, she will be heartbroken. A lot of her room is a mixture of princess stuff and Aaron Judge, number 99. We had a friend make a retired number 99 plaque like you see in Monument Park Yankee Stadium. That's hanging on her wall. We've bought her posters. We printed out pictures of Aaron Judge. She has baseballs of him and little figurines and bobbleheads. So it's so much Aaron Judge in that room. And so many of her shirts and her baseball stuff. She even got to wear number 99 in T-ball this year. We got to be the Yankees in T-ball. I got to be her coach in T-ball, head coach for the second year in a row. And she was so excited we got to be the Yankees. And she got number 99, which they didn't have last year. And she got to be 99 just like Judge. And her number is retired, 99, up on the wall. And hopefully one day Judge will be too. Hopefully he's a lifelong Yankee, like a great player like Derek Jeter. So I'm hoping he stays with the Yankees and he's a Yankee forever and has another 8 to 10 great years in him now that he's only 30. So she will be devastated if it doesn't happen. And like he goes to his boyhood favorite team, the San Francisco Giants, where he was cheering on Barry Bonds, the controversial home run king. So yeah, we're just hoping he stays a Yankee. And she was amazed. And she's very proudly wearing her Judge shirt, and I told you that room is a shrine to Aaron Judge. So this is like her idol. She even has a couple of dolls, even a backup doll that she gave me to hang on to. So in case she loses the other one, she has a backup that I'm supposed to keep under safeguard to make sure she doesn't ever have one without him. And she snuggles with this little Aaron Judge doll. And we even put the hat, you can lift it up when it's morning time and lift it down when it's bedtime. She puts it down when it's bedtime, and they snuggle every night. And she has a big Aaron Judge blanket she goes to bed with. So let's just say she's obsessed and she loves it. It's kind of like how I was with Derek Jeter as a kid growing up in New York, and then even Ken Griffey Jr. I always thought was like the Michael Jordan.
Also your Britney Spears posters. Yes.
yes, all of that. I couldn't. It was too much. Maybe one more time. I couldn't help myself. And Toxic, all the great songs. Now that she's free now, Britney, so I'm glad she finally is out of her father's harsh rule, and she's doing a cover song with Elton John. So Tiny Dancer, I think it is. So good stuff. But yes, Spice Girl posted all that stuff.
I thought
she's got the Aaron Judge stuff.
I thought the song was "Hold Me Closer," Tony Danza. I thought that's what it was.
That's how I think of it. When I sing it with my daughter, I say, "Hold me close, young Tony Danza. Count the headlights on the highway." So to me, that's how it goes. As I made everyone's ears bleed who's listening in. So many apologies, but hopefully you enjoyed my glorious singing pipes.
And I always thought that Joe Girardi looked like Tony Danza. I could always see like a connection between the two of them.
Who's the boss? Angela, Jonathan, Samantha. I used to watch that all the time. When it was first on and the reruns.
I got to see Tony Danza when he was across the street from Aladdin on Broadway, and he was one of the main actors in, I forget the name of the Broadway show, but I went to go see it, and I remember just sitting in the room the whole time going like, this is the Who's the Boss guy. Like, how am I here in this room and he's just on this stage? I could like run to the stage right now. And I'm like, here he is.
Angels in the Outfield, which was a great movie.
Oh yeah,
where you make the wave, and young Joseph Gordon-Levitt is the young boy Roger, and he sees the angels. Yes, I remember that. And he was even in a weird football movie. He was a Philadelphia Eagle kicker, the garbage picker, or whatever that kid was called. And that's another one where Tony Danza plays a garbage man who becomes a kicker for the Philadelphia Eagles. And like a kid movie that came out like 20 years ago. So if you want to see Tony Danza, he does some sports movies too.
Yeah, no, he definitely. It was crazy to see him like after all these years and be a huge Who's the Boss fan, and not only be a huge Who's the Boss fan, but to be a very, very huge fan of Alyssa Milano. So it was definitely crazy back then. I didn't have a poster of Alyssa Milano, but that's because I couldn't find one. But if I could have, I would have. So here,
a lot of people our age would have. She was a big star, and everyone seemed to kind of.
She's still pretty. She's still pretty. She's in the movie Little Italy, which I love that movie. She's in that movie as the mom, and I do. This is where I think I've gone wrong in life. I haven't dated enough Italian women, and I saw a post this morning because I've dated some crazy people, but they're not Italian. But I saw a post this morning, and it was of one of the Italian movies, whatever. And there was a note that said, there's a message that said September 17th, 2014, or it said like no one, like the thing where it says like me, ... or whatever, and it said like no one, and then it said Italian woman, and you're like, how are you doing? And she says, I'm fine, but why did you lie on September 17th, 2014 at 4:53 p.m.? And so, but
that happens a lot. Like, a lot of times, I know people like try to make a joke about it. I think it's just a stereotype. People, and a lot of times it's the women in your life, and sometimes they have every right to, but they will remember everything. Something from 10 years ago at 2:31 in the afternoon, or 8 o'clock in the morning on like 7 years ago. You forgot to take out the trash, or you forgot to pick up some groceries, forgot to get the lemons like in the breakup, or I want you to want to do the dishes, you forgot to do the dishes. Like something from like 6 years ago at that specific time. They will keep it in their minds, and they will remember it, and you'll never hear the end of it. So just try your best, and like a roller coaster, hold on for dear life, and try to make sure you do the things you're supposed to do, because it will come back to bite you, and you will remember it forever, because when you least expect it, especially in an argument, it will be brought back up, and you will be beaten and defeated in every single argument, because a lot of women have amazing memories, and they will come back, and it will come back to bite you that you forgot to do something a long time ago.
I want you to want to do the dishes. Yeah. So, I mean,
Who wants to do the dishes or wants to clean the house? You might do it, but you don't want to. You have to be an insane person to want to do it.
Right. You know, I just remember one of my exes, she was like, and I was like, what? She's like, watching you mow the lawn makes me, you know, like hot, a little bit hot and bothered, whatever. She's like, when I watch you do the lawn, it's just so sexy. She's like, if you do the lawn more, you'll probably get what you want. And I was like, I don't tend your fields, woman. Like, this is not.
This is just a ploy. She just wanted you to do manual labor. Yeah. She was trying to like put something on the table, like you might get some more action. But probably you wouldn't. It was just a way for you to do more house chores around the house, and nothing else was going to happen. But she was trying to throw it out there that it could happen, so it would be more productive. But I won't buy that for 1 second.
No.
That would work.
And my response to it was, I don't care if this is real or not. I'm not doing more. So, like, you know, it was just kind of, to me, it was funny. It was laughable to think that, you know, here is this woman going, hey, if you do this a little bit more. And I was like, yeah, and what do I get if I don't? You know, because I was not, there's not, you know.
The same thing. Alone in a dark room and saying, what have I done? Why am I by myself? That's the same thing's going to happen.
Yeah, why do I feel like I'm in jail? So, and it's funny because some people will say that and they'll say, well, you get more action in jail. But, you know, and that's probably true. But the reality of it all is, I hope
never to know that, so you'll have to tell me if you go to jail. I hope never to experience that.
I plan to never go to jail myself. I would like to hope that there's nothing. Yeah. And that's the thing that I don't understand about people with jail is, how do you, like, if you're a man and you know what happens in jail, how are you not pulled away from jail just by simply knowing that information? Like, if you're like, hey, I love crime, I love committing crimes, I love doing bad things, and they're like, hey, if you go to jail, you know, this is going to happen to you, potentially sexually. Why does that not deter everybody? If I was a criminal who loved the crime, and I loved doing all the crimes, and you told me they'll bend you over in jail if you drop the soap, I would never commit a crime again. And that's the thing. I'm a moral person. So morally, I'm not going to commit a crime because that's who I am. I'm not going to do that. I don't believe in doing bad things to bad people or bad things to good people. It's not who I am. So my thing is, I'm not committing the crime. But if you were someone who just loved crime so much and you couldn't get enough of that crime, I would think the thing that deters you from crime would be someone telling you what happens to you in jail if you commit the crime. And I feel like every jail should be empty right now of the men that are simply terrified of dropping soap. And I don't know why that theory hasn't been proven at this point.
I don't know. It's a weird situation. You just hope you never have to experience it, basically.
Yeah, well, that's, the statute of limitations are over for everything I've done. So, but I do want...
That's what you think. You never know. Man, you still might commit many more crimes in your day. You never know.
So, with that being said, before I let you go, Ross, it is a a very happy time and a very important time for you. And for me to say this, as my birthday at the time we're talking is 16 days away. Your birthday has come to us over the weekend on Saturday. Syracuse got a massive 59-0 win on your birthday, and Sean Tucker of Syracuse passed 3 more players on that list of running backs for all-time rushes. How did you spend your birthday on Saturday? And I know that you had a nice trip and did some cool things, but just to let everybody know about your birthday, about how amazing your wife is and how she's always been when you guys were dating, just things that she does for the both of you. So how your birthday was spent and what it feels like that as every year for 3 weeks exactly, you and I get to be the same age.
It's very nice. We're both 36 for a little while. No, we usually go on a Pittsburgh trip every year because she was a diehard Steelers fan since she was little. She never went to a Steelers game until we started dating. So about 8 years ago, we went to our first game. And sometimes it's around our birthdays in October. Other times it's in November. When we go this year, it happened to fall right on my birthday weekend because it had my favorite stinky Jets, who found a way to get a big comeback victory in Pittsburgh, which she was, happy for me, but very disappointed and sad. So much as I rooted for the Jets, I knew that she'd be kind of sad that her Steelers lost. She got to see Kenny Pickett come out in the second half and energize that team from University of Pittsburgh, the local kid. He ran for 2 touchdowns. And she's actually going to go, I'm staying home with the kids. She's actually going with her mom, who grew up in that area as a diehard Buffalo Bills fan. She's going to see her Steelers, and her Uncle Scott and Rose are going to also go. They're going to drive to Buffalo this weekend, and it's going to be Steelers at Bills, and she's going to get to watch Kenny Pickett's first start in the NFL. And Nana Fran, her mom, is going to be rooting for the Buffalo Bills. So again, another tough opponent because the Steelers now, who are 1-3, this Jets game was a very winnable game. They now have to face the Bills, one of the best teams in football, and Josh Allen. Then the next week they have to play Tom Brady and the Buccaneers, who allegedly maybe him and Giselle have hired divorce lawyers and might be over. Who knows? Then they play Miami, and then right before their bye, they have to play the only undefeated team in football at the Philadelphia Eagles in Philly the day before Halloween. You know it's going to be crazy and hyped up there. So hopefully they get T.J. Watt soon, and Kenny Pickett could be the real deal because the offense between their coordinator, Matt Canada, and Mitchell Trubisky at quarterback was not going to get it done. At least Kenny Pickett threw 3 interceptions, but he provided a spark. So we got to go there. Saw the Jets Steelers on Sunday. We actually went on Saturday, the day of my birthday. We traveled to Pittsburgh, and we got to hang around the city. And then at night, they had a prime time, 8 o'clock. We went to to me, will always be Heinz Field, but it's now Acrisure Stadium. They've renamed it. Got a new sponsor. We went to the Pitt, University of Pittsburgh versus Georgia Tech matchup. It was an 8 o'clock primetime game on the ACC network. And Pittsburgh thought they were just going to walk over Georgia Tech. It was rainy. It was a mess. At least it was dry for the Steeler game versus the Jets on Sunday. So we got to go to the stadium on Saturday night. They were nationally ranked right ahead of your Syracuse team coming into that game. Yeah. Now Syracuse has moved up to, I think, 21. Pitt is not ranked. And Georgia Tech, who had just fired their head coach and had to go on the road to Pittsburgh. It was their ACC opener for both squads. And Georgia Tech upset them. We only stayed at halftime because it was pouring rain. We knew we had to get up early for the Steeler game the next day. And then we went around the city, and I got my birthday cake. We went to a local cheesecake factory, got some tasty cinnamon bun cheesecake, which was amazing. And she got pumpkin pecan cheesecake. So we went there. But, yeah, it was a low-scoring 7-6. Pitt was up at half. And then in the second half, they totally imploded. So Georgia Tech upset Pitt. And Pitt is not ranked anymore. And the fans, they turned on their local Pitt Panthers. They were cursing them out and real upset. But we had great seats. We were like second row from the field. And even for the Jets-Steeler game the next day, we got great seats again. My wife got us where I think we were the 6th row next to the field in the end zone. So it was just a great weekend, long trips in the car, but got to see 2 football games, got to see my Jets pull off a nice upset win on the road against Pittsburgh, got to go to some nice restaurants and have just a nice birthday weekend. So hopefully I will be able to return the favor because my wife, her birthday is 2 weeks after mine on October 15th. Yeah. So we'll try to do something special for that. So we have a lot of October birthdays. And then 2 days later, October 17th, is going to be our wedding anniversary, our 7th year being married. So we have a lot of things in October, a lot of birthdays in the family. And, you're October 21st, baby. You get a superhero movie that I'm sure you'll be pumped for, Black Adam, and a George Clooney and Julia Roberts rom-com coming out as well. So you got some movies, you got some things to look forward to, and you're just a great person. So you'll be 37 years old, but for a little while we get to be the same age. and that's exciting. So hopefully we can all get together and celebrate our birthday month and a month of lots of great things to be thankful for.
Yeah. Ross and I still owe each other a Las Vegas trip where we just get those Kodak cameras and we check the film one time. We just check it one time. So, but
hangover style, yep.
Yeah.
You don't want any proof. You gotta destroy the evidence.
Well, that's the thing back in the day is you could just take the Kodak camera, never develop the film, and throw it in the trash. However, I always thought there'd be some weirdo that would find my Kodak camera, like bring it into Walmart and say, these are my photos. I want to see who's on here.
Creepy Robin Williams movie from 20
Yeah,
years ago.
1 hour photo. I have it.
Photo.
I own
and
it.
I'm sorry for you. He's very good in it. I loved him in comedies. It was so sad when he passed on. But he decided to go a much darker route for this movie. And he's a creeper working at a Walmart Sam's Club type of place. Yeah. I don't think they legally were allowed to call it those places, even with a blue vest.
It was definitely, it was Walmart. That's what it was.
He was obsessed when you had to develop your film. He was obsessed looking at these families' photos and then would creep on them in their house. So that to this day still haunts me, that movie. So I would not be shocked at any moment someone developing your film might use that in nefarious ways. So yes, I'm glad you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, the great late Robin Williams was a total creeper in 1 hour photo if you want to see what could go wrong. But yes, now if you take pictures though with your phone, it's in the cloud forever and those can be used against you. So you have to be careful. Hopefully use a disposable camera and make sure no weirdos take the film. But yeah, if you take it on your phone, those pictures will come back. Someone will see them. So be careful what pictures you might take.
You know what I find really funny is I was going to make a final note on Aaron Judge, so I had his picture up the whole time you said all that stuff, but which was great. You know the only thing.
Well, Aaron Judge he looked like he did something bad because you have Judge smiling while we talk about a creeper with film.
Let me tell you this though. You know what's creepier than a total stranger looking at your film? You know what's more weird and scarier than having a creepy person look at your film? Dating the creepy person that's in those pictures with you. So
very true.
Yeah.
There's no escape. You might have to fake your death like Batman at the end of spoiler 10 years ago. Dark Knight Rises. You might have to fake your own death just so you can get the heck out of the situation. It's really messy.
Well, and that's the thing. So I mean, I think if Robin Williams was looking at my photos with my ex-girlfriend, I would have rather talked to Robin than have ever picked up the photos with her. So I would have been like, Robin, please save us both. But yeah, no, it's just it was a time in my life where I didn't have to develop any pictures. There was only one developed picture in my home, and that is gone. So, and I can't sell the frame because the frame has my name on it. See, what I did with my old wedding thing, I never used like 90% of the wedding frames I got, and these are expensive, really nice frames. So I'm going to yard sale it up, and somebody's going to get some really nice frames that still have like the picture that came with it inside. I wanted to mess with people though and take out the picture that comes with the frame and like put me into the picture that like comes with the frame and make it look like it was supposed to be there, but have it be just like totally out of this world pictures, like just crazy photos. And like, like one of me watching like the game and I'm wearing nothing and there's just like a little towel across it, but it's a black and white one. So when they buy the wedding photo, it has the thing on it. So it looks like the picture that came with it. And they're like, why would Hallmark do this?
It'd be very creepy, yes, if you saw that at your local Hallmark store.
There's nothing wrong with that. Like the Dan series, where it's a bunch of, inappropriate pictures that just so happen to look like they came with the photo frame. But then there'd be some creeper out there like Robin Williams that would keep my photo, or like one of my ex-girlfriends that would keep my photo.
All over his house or apartment, and he'd sing the Right Said Fred song. I'm too sexy for the shirt, so sexy it hurts. That's what a creeper would do. So
or dance like. Or dance like Giovanni Ribisi in that Ted movie.
Ted, yes.
I think we're alone now. Yeah.
He was obsessed with that teddy bear. He wanted to do some dirty stuff, unmentionable things to that teddy bear.
I still want to like sit on a bench in New York City with you and do that Mark Wahlberg thing where we're like, "Hey, a little fits and a little fits," and he's like, "Why'd you go that far? You made it real." But one of the best movies out there ever is the Ted movie. So Ross and I came here today to talk about Aaron Judge. We talked about dropping the soap, why more people shouldn't be in jail of fear of dropping the soap.
We did start Judge Call, but we did a lot of stuff, and I never thought we'd end up talking about prison and about Robin Williams' 1 hour photo. I never thought we were going to get there, but you never know what we're going to discuss on the show, so it can go anywhere on weird tangents, but we started with Judge, we'll end with Judge, but in between, it can go anywhere, and that's basically, we went on a trip, and we took all of you on a trip today, so thank you, and you're very welcome.
Well, and that, I mean, listen, I don't think anybody, Robin Williams in heaven right now is saying to himself, I never thought in a million years I would hear 1 hour photo of all my movies mentioned in a broadcast. So
I don't think so. I don't think anyone would ever think of that movie. You think of all his great movies, Good Will Hunting, and what was it, Mrs. Doubtfire, hello, all that stuff. But you would never think of 1 hour photo.
I am Job. one of the best. I mean, yeah. I don't think. I think if there's any duo on this planet from the beginning of time, and I'm talking cavemen, that could link Aaron Judge to dropping the soap, to what San Diego stands for, to talking about the MLB standings, to 1 hour photo, to Crazy Ex-Girlfriends. I would challenge any two people in the history of mankind to do what we did this morning, and do it so seamlessly.
I mean, the morning is not the doom, I think that nature. Hasta la vista, baby.
And I love the fact that I've kept Aaron Judge's picture up the whole time.
I'm not a girly man, I'm so strong. You see it, I don't take the steroids, I crush the home runs. And LJ's laughing in the background because of my crazy voice. And things that nature.
So with
I'm not the double man.
I think that is my favorite that you've. I think that's my favorite. And I got asked to do the Arnold Schwarzenegger impression yesterday. So I was doing the hey, get down, get to the chopper. But what you just did when you just did Jamie like that. I think that is the hotkey of Jamie. You know, like that.
You should have blast that out at random times on your show and during interviews. Scream out, Jamie!
I literally want to just play it, just randomly, you know, talking about a bunch of stuff. And being like, yeah, you know, and Syracuse is now 6-0, and Jamie!
And they'll be like, what the hell are you smoking? What is Jamie? And they just keep shouting, Jamie! And you wait to see their response until they quietly walk away or run away in fear. Kind of like that weird Smile movie that came out. You just quickly stare and smile at them like an insane person. That's the kind of reaction you would get if you keep shouting at Jamie.
I'm not taking the Aaron Judge picture off at all. He looks like he's laughing at the whole thing.
Baseball games, which was creepy. To promote the movie leading up to last week when the movie came out, they'd have creepy people. There was a bunch of no-name cast members who would wear a Smile shirt. So if you knew the movie was coming out, you knew it was based on that. They would strategically get them great seats behind home plate, like even at the Mets.
Are you serious? That horrible movie that the government made in order to make us put masks back on. They made a smile be a scary thing as a propaganda to make us wear masks again. That's what I think.
So at the Mets Stadium and at the Yankee Stadium, there was a guy. At the Mets Stadium, there was a lady. They creepily, and they also did it in Oakland at the Athletics game, they creepily had them wear Smile t-shirts.
Jamie!
They stared into the camera behind home plate so everyone could see them, and a lot of broadcasters didn't know what this movie was, so they were like horrified, like, why is that person not blinking? And the pitcher, I'm sure, is a big distraction. They look right out to the hitter, and they see behind home plate, they saw this creepy lady just staring at them, smiling the whole time with no reaction. She did that for a 3-hour baseball game. So they were doing a lot of weird viral.
I didn't know that my ex-girlfriend got a job.
She finally got one. It's a miracle. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Jamie!
Oh, man. I don't want to do anything but talk about that was my ex-girlfriend that was smiling behind home plate and screaming Jamie the rest of the show.
She's a movie star now. Little did you know. She's become a movie star without having to talk, just with a creepy smile.
Funny thing about it is, if I think about the way that she would smile and how she'd look sometimes, it's not far off. It's really not. I can't. I just, Jamie!
I tell you, you bought that for me for one of the Hanukkah or Christmas presents. I'm going to put that DVD on. I'm going to watch Turbo Man today, and it's going to be amazing. Jingle all the day. They do call me the morning. It is not the tuna.
I just love... I love the fact that I will not take the Aaron Judge smiling picture off of this.
Never. Should be on there for every show for here to Turner.
Aaron Judge is like, good job, guy. Like, he looks like he's enjoying the show. So
we're talking about Smile. We're talking about Creepers. Robert Williams 1 hour photo. Keep it on for all of it. Let's talk some jail talk and just have Judge smiling the whole time. It's perfect. It's great, great radio and content.
Yeah, great content for people around the world. Someone in Germany is going, those Americans are really messed up. So we appreciate you being here. We're not. You guys are. Take the wall down. But I love German people. I'm just kidding. And much appreciation to all of you. Not the Nazis.
It's going to be our first ever, well, yeah, I think that's pretty obvious. You don't want to root for them. Yeah. They're universally the most hated group of people. But they're going to have the first ever NFL regular season game in Germany.
Jamie!
The very possibly single Tom Brady for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will be playing that game overseas in Germany coming up pretty soon.
Yeah, well, he might have to be finding a new overseas wife, I guess. This is just crazy what's going. I feel horrible for Tom Brady.
He wants to play forever, and his wife is fed up with it. He retired, and allegedly she behind her back called up Tampa Bay. So like, I'm back after 40 days. 40 days with his family. He's like, I've had enough. I'm done with you guys. I can't handle this. He's like, I want to be with my family. 40 days is all he could handle. And I thought maybe he would just beg her, can I just, which is kind of sad he'd have to beg, but can I play one more season? And then he has that big lucrative deal to be a broadcaster with no experience on Fox and even cover some Super Bowls and then be retired, and she'd be okay with that. But maybe things will change, but that's the report, is that they are headed for Splitsville, and whether you would wonder, is he crazy enough if they truly aren't together anymore? At the end of the season, what's stopping him from playing more years? If he's healthy and playing well, he might play another 5 years till he's 50. I thought the only reason why he would stop is for his wife and kids, and if that's not in the equation anymore, he might play forever. So he might play with his son one day in the NFL. Who knows? It could be like a LeBron James and Bronny situation in the NBA in a few years. So you never know. But crazy stuff, and we'll see. But he will be hitting up Germany very soon.
Well, I will say this, and I've said this, I've said it before, and I'll say it again. If you watch talking about Smile and 1 hour photo and ex-girlfriends and creepy videos in jail, all of that's connected to Tom Brady's video of mouth kissing his son for a very long time. And
creepy stuff,
yeah,
yes.
and I remember that I said a long time ago, and I would say it again today. I said I just hope that someday I am with a woman who kisses me as passionately as Tom Brady kisses his son.
You might have to look for centuries to come. That was a very passionate kiss. The search continues. I think very few people could say they've ever gotten that kind of passion.
Well, the thing that's funny is, I wish his son was named Jamie. What would be really cool is after his...
LJ right now is telling me, get off the phone!
I know. He wants to play. The final note that I would make is the only thing that would make that video better with Tom Brady and his son is if Tom Brady asked for his son to give him another kiss. And by the way, the Aaron Judge picture's back up. But if he would ask if Tom Brady was trying to chase his son in the towel, all oiled up from getting the massage, and his son wouldn't give him a kiss, and he chased after him, and he was like, Jamie!
That seems like a scene out of the first Borat movie, when Borat and that very heavy man, the cameraman, would chase each other with towels and eventually buck naked in a hotel. That's what that reminds me of, that scene.
And just so everybody knows, I once again put up the picture of Aaron. I had to. So, it's this smiling picture.
Go back to that. Think of Aaron Judge's picture, think of Smile, think of Brady and his son kissing, and then think of Borat and that very large cameraman basically butts and other crotch areas right up against each other, buck naked in a hotel room in the first Borat movie. Go back, watch Borat, very, very nice. How much? Things and all that stuff. And you enjoy that, and you will have lots of images that will never leave your mind for the rest of your life. So I recommend watch all that. Watch 1 hour photo. If you have to watch any Robin Williams movie, watch 1 hour photo. Forget all the great classics and the hilarious comedies. Watch 1 hour photo, and you will be changed forever.
Well, the thing is, the movie's longer than an hour too. So, but go watch it, enjoy it, Ross. As always, I don't know how we got here, but I'm happy that we did, and I always appreciate you being on the show. Now, I will say really quick here, we did get a bunch of messages. We did get a bunch of messages in here really quick. 21 comments. Shout out to my birthday. But we got a ton of messages, and
we got prison mail. They used to cover that at Marywood when we were on the radio station.
Yeah, prison mail.
Station. We supposed to got lots of prison mail for our radio shows, and in order to protect us, they wouldn't let us check the prison mail. But apparently, we were very popular in prison.
And I got a message from Greg, said, "She gone crazy political, DT." And then he said, what else do we get here? Crazy stories that have come out regarding Tony Danza on the set of Who's the Boss. Oh, Alyssa Milano's gone political, yes. My mom said good morning. And then Greg said Smile Movie Promotions really was quite unique, but very odd and freaky. And before we go here, I do want to give you a note here. Greg always loves when you come on the show, so he said, Ross is back, baby. And then put happy holiday. And yes, Ross, I want to say this to you as well. Happy Yom Kippur. So happy holiday. Miss Susan Wellman missed the big home run and milestone due to the holiday last night. Sterling did a nice job on the call. Don't forget Jeff.
It's a fasting holiday. We don't do that, but a lot of people who do participate are supposed to fast from sundown last night all the way till it's nighttime today. So hopefully everyone has a good fast, and it'll be over before you know it, and then you can have a delicious meal to overcome that. But yeah, so Yom Kippur, right after Rosh Hashanah, we had the Jewish New Year last week. So lots of good stuff.
And we got another thing. We got 2 questions here. Well, a note here. How about the fan that caught the number 62 ball? I wonder if he got security escort leaving the game to protect him post catching the ball.
He did.
And
I saw it. He probably is going to sell the ball, not give it back. We were talking about this the last time we were on.
Yeah.
And they said that ball's worth at least $2 million. He got authenticated, and the security took him out because if he was there, he would have sit and duck. People probably would have attacked him to try to steal that baseball because it'd be great if he gave it back to the judge, but it's worth so much money, he needed protection. So hopefully it's like winning the Powerball. Hopefully they can keep him safe, and he's probably going to be a very rich millionaire soon, even though, in my mind, I would wish he would give that ball to judge, and they could just exchange a ball and maybe give him season tickets or a picture, but that ball's going to be sold to the highest bidder, it looks like.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, I would give it back to Aaron Judge after I had a bubble bath with some Moscato and the ball sitting next to me. Thoughts on the Kenny Pickett era is the last question we got.
I'm very excited about it. I'm hopefully optimistic. I still don't know if he's the real guy. In my mind, I still think down the road they're gonna have to go for a bigger, better franchise quarterback. Like when you see him, he's kind of slender out there. My wife said, compare his butt size. She was doing that when they were in the huddle. You saw all these big, strong dudes, receivers, running backs. They have all these offensive weapons and linemen. And then you see him with as she said, oh, look at his tiny butt, and he has to wear his gloves because his tiny hands. So maybe he'll work out. I still think in the end, in a few years, they're going to have to draft their franchise quarterback. I don't know if it's him. I think it won't be him. And it's very hard to get Ben Roethlisberger because between Terry Bradshaw and Ben Roethlisberger, they had years of Neil O'Donnell, Cordell Stewart, and Tommy Maddox, a lot of mediocre quarterbacks in Pittsburgh, and they didn't win Super Bowls without them. So if I had to guess, I think Pickett will get a chance. It was electric to see him come in second half. It was sad for Mitch Trubisky. They all chanted, Kenny, Kenny. They all wanted Pickett in. Yeah. And unless Trubisky was amazing, he was set up to fail. He was never going to be the quarterback for long because if he struggled like he did, the fans wanted the hometown kid. Played at University of Pittsburgh. He was there forever. He seemed to keep getting red shirts. And so it'll be great to see what Pickett can do. He'll get his first start in Buffalo, a very tough assignment on Sunday. And I think he'll get a few years a chance. And yet I think they're still going to need another franchise quarterback down the road. But it's very exciting to see the local kid and see what he can do.
Absolutely. And so with that being said, as always, Ross, I appreciate you, and I look forward to talking with you very soon. And happy birthday once again.
Thank you very much. Take care, and
Jamie! We'll talk later. Take care. See you.
Bye-bye.
coming from Ross here on the broadcast this morning. I feel like mine got better as it went on. I haven't. You know what the thing is? You know, they say never lose yourself in a relationship, and I can tell you that I definitely, I definitely was in that situation. You know, I lost myself in the last relationship I was in, and and losing myself in that relationship, I stopped doing my impressions, which is like a big part of me and what I do and like who I am and stuff. And so, I stopped doing it. And so I haven't done them in a while. And yesterday I was out with Jay Cartini of Carvel DeWitt, and we were having lunch at PB&J's Lunchbox with Pat Orr, and having a great time there on 663 Old Liverpool Road in Liverpool, New York. Awesome tuna melt and awesome chili as well. Really good chili, what I needed. And we were just sitting talking, and Jay likes that I do, these impressions. And so he said to Pat, have you ever heard them? And then he just started a conversation with me, and he would say, President Trump, what do you think about? And I would go to that, then to Bill Clinton, and then to Arnold. And I realized I hadn't done them in a while, because normally I'm doing them like every day or every other day, and I'm practicing, right? And you have to keep you got to keep that with you, right? So, like, I can play basketball still to this day, but when I shot every day, obviously it's better than me not shooting for months and then going out there and trying to shoot cold. So, my Arnold impression yesterday, all my impressions, I was like, wow, I got to dust them off, So today I got to, Jamie, really get into it and have some fun with it, thanks to Ross. So I haven't laughed that hard in a really long time, and typically every time I talk to Ross, this is what happens. This is what ensues, is we just, I say, wow, I haven't laughed like that in a while. And then it's, wow, I haven't laughed like that in a while. And then it keeps going, and it's just a beautiful thing. I mean, it's great to have best friends and people that have become family and become brothers and sisters to me. So really appreciate Ross. And we're going to take a final step aside here. We are going to get into fantasy football after this fast break. So stay with us and listen in to our great partners in Central and Upstate New York as Wake Up Call is live from the Cafe Kubal studios.
In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville beats. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you.
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. I kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others was really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily. We bring in local produce. We prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spin our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life. That's a very, very different experience than you will have at any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
I'm George Townsend of Honda City with some good advice when buying a new car. The true cost of owning a new car is determined by the appraised value when you trade it. No vehicle appraises higher than a Honda. Next, look for low APRs and deep discounts. You also want low maintenance costs and great fuel economy. That's why my advice to you is to buy a new Honda. Looking pre-owned, visit our Honda Certified Used Car Center. Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard, Liverpool, or HondaCity-CNY.com.
It would be a pity if you don't shop at Honda City.
Our corporate purpose at Chick-fil-A is to glorify God by being faithful stewards of all that's entrusted to us and to positively influence all those who come in contact with Chick-fil-A. And what became increasingly clear from our success in Cicero is that people love Chick-fil-A. And also I think we recognized that, we had a great opportunity to grow the brand and grow our platform. I felt incredibly grateful when I was selected to be a Chick-fil-A operator. I think what it's meant for me, what I've come to realize on a very deep level is that this is a calling for me. It's not a career. It's not a job. The Lord called me to be a Chick-fil-A operator and to use these restaurants to glorify Him and to positively influence other people. I'm blessed. I'm very blessed.
Head to Chick-fil-A Clay on 3974 State Route 31 in Liverpool, New York.
Welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora inside of the Cafe Kubal studios. Happy to be here with you. Very much appreciate Bob Beretta here with me this Wednesday and every first and third Wednesday of each month, including all of the special additions that we do in the bonus like last week that we had with Bob Beretta. So a big thanks to Bob, to Dr. Linda Lemira, to all of the coaches, student athletes, and to the entire family, the Finn family of LeMoyne College and our exclusive multimedia marketing partnership. And a big thanks to Ross Turetsky, one of my best people in my life, a close friend and a brother to me, who is just really an incredible human being. And we had a lot of laughs this morning, so hopefully you did too. Speaking on Aaron Judge in all seriousness and having fun, obviously, along the way. So a lot of great stuff. We're going to get into our fantasy football power hour, so we're going to end this video and start a new one. So wherever you are, stay with us, and we will be back momentarily.